Yeah.
What I mean. What?
Ow.
So during the iteration 5 build, I was working on a turret chain, which helps us organize the motor wires and different wires for the sensors that we have on our robot. It's a pretty crucial part. It's not just a turret. There's a lot more involved to keep it organized, keep it working well. So I accomplished a working prototype. Even though I faced a lot of struggles, we had to do a lot of reprinting, a lot of rebuilding, and it's still not fully complete. But I'm gradually working on it, and I'm proud that I'm being able to do this. And my team has been supporting me through this.
In Iteration 5, I was able to create the intake and transfer and have it all mounted with only one motor. I was also able to make the intake smaller and therefore be able to run at like a higher motor speed. I feel like one big challenge was definitely like with the calculations, as like since it's all powered with one motor, I had to use like belt calculations, which I found pretty difficult.
What I accomplished was the turret, the ramp, the drum. So basically the transfer channel, I guess you could call it. And then including that was the transfer plate that held the two transfers. And then that all leads up to the turret with the main plate. And I had to do a lot of math and also use the numbers to see how everything lines up, including visually seeing how the assembly lines up in CAD. The main challenge I would definitely say is keeping track of everything. Although there were big problems like the ball not being able to line up properly, going from the transfer to the turret, I think that was all because of me not keeping track of everything. But since it was, I think, my first time managing all these variables, it's definitely a big challenge because a lot of the times I actually did measure from the wrong point, which led to me sitting there wondering why it all didn't work, even though all the dimensions for other parts were all correct. I think it definitely proved on winter break or during winter break. I think the team also grew a lot more comfortable together during those meetings, as it's like outside of a school context. But I think, especially since it's more challenging, you're gonna need to depend on others a lot more because for earlier iterations, I could probably step in with the intake a lot more. But this time I had to trust Chris a lot with the belt, or I did help with the belt, but the intake with the transfers and trusting him with all the dimensions. And then also working with Artem on the chainring, there was a lot of times where the chainring it would interfere with the turret, so there was a lot of communication on, can I cut this? Like, can I make this cut out here? Will it affect anything? And but we didn't end up using it, but I think it was still good.
I thought we were working together really well. I liked that It was just casual in the end. Like I'd expected it to be a lot more stressful. Like we come over to the house, we have like an intense build session, but we ended up having a pretty easy day. It doesn't really feel like 3 hours. We get through it pretty quickly. We get everything done, and then we just have to clean up, and it feels pretty relaxed
What I've taken away is that to not be afraid to ask help, whether it's like with like clarification on certain directions or just like with designs in general. Also to be creative with your designs, like not always to try to base it off like prior designs and to like try to make your own.
So what I took away from this building process is that you're always going to make mistakes, and you just have to accept that. There's certain struggles that you're going to face, especially with a system as complicated as mine. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of mechanical elements. So it's going to take some reprinting, some filing, some polishing, but you can get through it. You can have a good working prototype.
So what I took away was definitely use GitHub to first name your constraints and requirements, so it's easier to identify which constraints you have to definitely keep track of. Takeaways are definitely the numbers don't lie, but also use your eyes when you visually see an assembly. I think that's how I identified many of my problems, just because once I finished changing a part and its dimensions, I would go into the assembly and check, and then I would notice that this one little part of the arc stuck out, and that led me to two other problems that I solved instead of wondering why it didn't work later. Also, creating a model assembly, it's a bit more time consuming because you basically have to redo your progress, but you're able to isolate all the parts instead of having all, like in the main assembly, you have all the parts you need, like you have on the actual bot, but that model assembly helps kind of isolate the parts you really need.
This scrimmage has been great. From last year, I have experience going to competitions and seeing what it's all about, right? But I remember thinking back on that, how like I wasn't exactly sure what to expect and things like that. So um, I think that's good for the kids in the team that haven't had that experience yet. They can come and see like what's involved in the competition, how fast paced it is, how what some of the rules are, how the bots work, get other ideas and talk to their peers. Having peer conversations, I think, is a really important part of peer interactions. Is a really important part of it because they listen to adults only so much, right? But when they hear each other talking to each other, that is I think really powerful. So.
I mean, we learned a lot, like actually getting in there and actually competing. We saw our power wire pop out, so we had to tape it down. We decided we would have had sides, but we haven't gotten that far. But we're having sides to protect the wiring. And then I think just because it's more contact this year, a lot more protection around parts.
1, 2, 3, 4. Did you guys have fun today? Yeah. Really? Did you have fun today? Yeah. All right, let's see a thumbs up. Thank you, Jeff.
Different strategies with regards to shooting.
The shooting.
Shooting?
I think one of my favorite aspects of competition this year would be the driving aspect, because there's a lot of shooting and contact with other robots, and it's a big change over Into the Deep from last year, where it was just every robot's in their own corner of the field. Now there's a lot more contact and involvement with other bots, so I'm really excited for that.
Definitely working with the other people that are part of robotic. Really amazing people. It makes the whole process really enjoyable. And also just being able to see your bot succeed on the field, it's really rewarding and really satisfying and makes all of it worth it.
I enjoy building robots and working with other people.
I think it's super engaging, and I get to make my own stuff, I get to add it to the robot, and I get to see how it actually functions.
I enjoy being part of the community and how we can just come up with ideas together, meet up every week,
Aside from like the technical aspects, which I really enjoy, like the programming, I also really enjoy like working with a team because like you can get a lot accomplished with a team more than you can with yourself, and you can like even you can push through challenges and things like that. Like there's a saying that goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I think that really encompasses like what we've done on 369, and every challenge we faced, we're able to overcome it as a team.
I enjoy that I get to learn new things and challenge myself in building things that I can add to the robot, and I really enjoy the environment that we work in.
Having a team around me who can support me, you have to go through a lot with your team. Like last year, for example, last year during Worlds, 3 days of competition, and then you live in the same hotel with dinner each night. I think that makes a really special and nice experience for you. But even without Worlds, I think experiencing all these failures with the robot and trying to troubleshoot together, I think that unites people.
I enjoy the community a lot. There's everyone playing together, everyone brainstorming, and people going to their different tracks while still making a product that we know we put a lot of work into.
I think the part about us that is special is the dedication we put in. Well, first of all, not only did the team welcome me when I joined from R&D, but additionally, our team is staying for super long hours. They're doing it completely willingly, and they're staying happy. They're still engaged. They're still making progress, and I think that's a huge part of it.
I think the team is one thing that's special about the team is how every problem they come across, they try to solve it with dedication, and they'll stay long hours willingly. And I think that's really cool. And I also enjoy that everyone's so welcoming and nice.
I think it's like how we don't give up. We keep going whatever challenge we face, and I think that's really what's like important about the teamwork. Because if you're alone, you can like give up after a challenge or something. But when you have a team that you're working with and everybody's motivating each other, then you can like face every challenge and try to learn and grow.
I think one of the biggest challenges we face is definitely finding a design that will work to all the problems that we wanted to accomplish with this bot. And we kind of overcame that by just taking things slow and taking things step by step. As we found an issue, we would work on fixing a mechanism that will target that specific problem. That way we can, instead of jumping into something really big, we were able to move step by step and kind of keep working along the way.